think anybody looking at the market, look at these unbelievable, crazy valuations, and there's just absolute sort of spasm of almost daily, hourly deal making. Of course, you've got to kind of think, oh wow, this could go, this could be headed for a correction. I think it particularly if, of course, if the big hyperscalers who are pouring, hundreds of billions of dollars into the ground and building these data centers, if they can't prove that they've got a sustainable business model to recoup that money, that's obviously going to raise some issues, as I think is also the fundamental paradigm on which this whole industry is built, the so-called large language model AI paradigm. Some people predict that will deliver the holy grail of superintelligence. Others, and I'm probably more inclined to that view, think that there are certain limits to that probabilistic AI technology, which means that it won't perhaps be quite as all singing and all dancing as people suggest. So yeah, I think the chance of a correction is pretty high for all of those commercial and technological reasons, but it doesn't mean that the technology itself is not going to persist and is not going to flourish and is not going to have a huge effect, and that the infrastructure that is being built could not be, of course, repurposed for other uses. Much like the infrastructure that was built by the telecoms operators through the dot-com boom and crash, that infrastructure won't be repurposed for other reasons, for other use cases.
I'm just going to ask quite plainly, is this an AI bubble?
It could be, yeah, it could be. It's certainly got some pretty prominent features of what looks like a bubble.
And just to deal with the technology yourself, because you brought a really interesting point up about LLMs and this kind of probabilistic format that they take. I was speaking to a co-founder of an AI firm the other day, and he said he doesn't believe that LLMs and the way AI is moving right now will lead to novel scientific breakthroughs, the kind that wins Nobel Prizes, because of some of the things you've outlined. Does that mean that a lot of these big tech companies, OpenAI, Microsoft, etc., are on the wrong path right now when it comes to the way they're investing in AI and developing AI?
No, I don't think you should dismiss AI as it is, as somehow a sort of frivolous or passing fad. It's way more than that. I mean, it's anyone who's used any of these AI bots and entities will see that these LLM systems generate, extraordinary sort of humanoid-style content at the, swipe of a screen or the push of a button, and that is, of course, going to lead to very considerable innovation. I think the industry, which it often does, Silicon Valley is a place which loves hype cycles. Possibly, in my view, right from the outset, slightly overhyped that this technology would lead to, some people call it artificial general intelligence or super intelligence, in other words, systems that develop their own conscience, their own motives, an ability to improve themselves autonomously of human oversight. And I think, at the end of the day, the basic architecture of these systems is, as they say in the jargon, it's sort of probabilistic. You're kind of making a bunch of connections with the data that's being sort of force-fed into the systems, and then kind of extrapolating from that what you think makes sense in response to a prompt that you get from a human being. And in the end, that's always going to be quite clunky. It's going to be very data heavy. Generally, you're going to get out what you put in, or what you put in is going to determine what you get out. So I just think maybe Silicon Valley, which is very typical, particularly when they're having to raise money, they sometimes overstate their case. I don't think it's sensible to suggest that sort of LLMs is a dying paradigm. There's clearly some way to go, but maybe it's not quite the catch-all solution for everything that the industry has tended to claim in recent years.